2, 1, go.
Hi, everybody.
Aloha.
Welcome back. This
Welcome.
is season 2 of the We'll Name This Later podcast. I'm here, MarquisSoLive. It's me again, here with...
Christine.
It's Christine, the one and only. You love her. You love the hater. You love the lover. Sorry. No, man. So, really, what I wanted to do was solidify this second season because we were popping up. I mean, when they see this, it'll probably be April. So, I mean, April's a big month for me because, you know, it's my rotation around the Earth. I get the big 2-8. What's up?
Oh, I was gonna say it's your birthday, but
It
you
is my
said it.
birthday. Yeah, it's my rotation around the Earth. I'm so excited. But for this season in particular, I just wanted to gather around because the seasonal theme will be around family and relationships. In particular, we're going to really zone in on family and relationships. So, if you didn't catch last season's theme, last season it was more so random, but we did hit a lot of the 5Fs. 5Fs being friends, family, finance, fitness, and faith. I mean, we've had conversations surrounding all of those throughout the last season. This season, we're just going to hone in. We said family and relationship. So the first episode that we would like to do in this series is called Learn Yourself. It's something that I kind of like sat down and was like, oh man, we really got to, if we're talking family and relationships, honestly, the first thing that pops up to mind is really you. And the reason I say that is because there's a lot of different boundaries that we have for each other and like ourselves and just knowing our own like limits. So the first thing I'd like to say, like, Christine, how have you been? What's up?
I'm feeling fine. How are you?
I'm doing alright, man. I'm just ready. You know, I feel slightly old, but like slightly young. It's such a weird feeling 28 is. It's like I'm old enough to be someone's like dad. And I'm
Oh,
also
that's true.
old enough to mess with someone's mom. But I like still have people calling me young. It's kind of interesting. It's like that. I'm just like, man, like people still be like, oh no, like your body doesn't hurt when you wake up. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like you poor soul. Like,
Yeah, that sucks.
yeah, I know it's ridiculous. But so when it comes to this particular segment, the first thing I like to talk about is like when things get out of your control, like when you're dating. Now, when I think of that, like things getting out of your control, I mean like it's not necessarily sometimes it's a snowball, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I hear things getting out of control is like when you've tried, you know, you've tried to do your problem solving, you've tried talking to your partner, you've tried, you know, giving them space, you tried not talking to your partner in a sense, and you're still like, I have no idea. Like, I have no idea how to balance this. I have no idea, like, how to get my intended effect. Like,
Oh.
so I'm just like, is this something like, do you hit that moment? Like, do you like get a moment when you wake up and you're like, oh dang, I can't control what's going on in my relationship anymore? Or do you think it's like more of a build up? Like it's like little things slowly over time, and then becomes like a.
I believe it's a build-up.
You think it's a build
Yeah,
up?
I think it's a build-up. Because, there's little things, and then, of course, said person is concerned about it, but then are there any consequences to it? Like, hey, stop doing this. I
Yeah,
can leave
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't do that as an
Yeah, that's
ultimatum.
crazy. Like, no. I think, dang, I don't know. I kind of respect it, but I do think that is crazy. If like, I don't know, I'm on week 2 of dating, and she's like, "Yo, wash these dishes, or I'm gonna leave you." I'm like, "Oh crap."
Oh, no, not like that. I was just saying, if, letting someone disrespect you, and then it just grows following that. So, I mean, there could be some
Right.
frustration, but then it's not really getting to that core thing. It's not resolved, and then there's continuous frustration, and it grows, and then, like, what can you do after that?
No, I think you hit it right on the head because I think that first 90 days is really some of the most interesting phases of any type of relationship. It's like when you're like if something, I don't know, depending on your personality. So me, I typically address things as I see it. I don't wait for you to do it the third time for me to say, hey, I don't like that.
That's true.
But but I think that most people actually like will be like, no, like I really like this person, or like, hey, like this person's really sweet, so I'm gonna like slightly, I'm not gonna mind that one, or maybe this is me, so I'm gonna ignore that one thing that they said that irritated me, or like slightly made me feel awkward or off. And then like I feel like during your trial phase, like you're much more forgiving. Go ahead.
Oh, I think um, if the issue is something that's part of the person, that the person that has the issue with it would have to decide at that moment, do I think I can live with this?
Mm-hmm.
Can I continue with this?
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, if they continue with it, they don't really have the right to complain about that set. Because some people have habits that other people are bothered about.
Ooh, that's true. That's true. I feel the strain. But like, I mean, what do you say for the person that's like, you know, like I also think that we have our off days. Like,
Yes.
if I do something 1 out of 10 times, and you say it's something that I do every time, or I always do this because it's
Oh.
something negative. And I think that is a poor judge of character, and
It is.
that's like unfair for me. But like, who knows? Like, I mean, I understand people when they say like, "Oh, I don't want to take the chance of," that could be something that you do rarely, or it could be something that you say you do rarely and you actually do it all the time. So I do understand when people don't want to take a chance on it, but I feel like during those first days, like when you're still trying to get to know each other and you haven't like really revealed as much as like, like as much as you would later down the line. Like I was in church today, and one of the elders had said to everybody, it's like, hey, I've been married to my husband 36 years and we're still learning things about each other. Like, I think that that makes sense, and I think that that's very powerful. But what that says to me is that even married for 30 years, people are still like, wow, you do that? Or like, wow, that's how you are? So it's like really hard because in the first 90 days, you're trying to, discern if like this is someone that I want to be with for a long period of time. So it's like, what if you
Mm-hmm.
learn something, not even like 10 years, but 15 years down the line with kids, and you're like, ooh, I don't like this about this person. Like, isn't it's just such a weird thing? Because like now you have history, now you have like lots of moments, and it's like, what
You
can
mean
you
when
live
people
with?
change?
I mean, like, I think some people change, but I also think that you could learn different things about someone like much later in time. I think that
Oh.
even some of my longer relationships, like it wasn't until I saw a person in a position that I really saw a different side of them. Like, if you've never traveled with a significant other before, like go on a cruise, go to another country,
Yeah.
like go somewhere else with your significant other, I feel like there's a whole nother side that you haven't seen.
Yep.
Road trips, that's a whole nother side
That is.
of like people. Like you'd
Yep.
be surprised because you only see it in those type of environments. Like, oh yeah, I've been in this small space with this person for hours, and there's nothing but radio and or time. Like, I think that's a crazy
Yeah,
um,
that's true.
like side of them. So I think it's interesting that we can like say like, oh, like, like I want to be with this person, or like I don't want to be with this person because of XYZ. When it's like, I don't know. I don't know
Could
how
I
many
be
other
stranded
sides.
on an island with this person?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because, but then again, like, would you be stranded on an island with that person? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Good question.
how likely is that to
Would we be
happen?
fun together? Would we have a good time? Would we make the most out of things?
Ah, man.
Are we
Man.
compatible
On an
if
island?
it's just us?
On an island, though?
Would we get tired of each other?
Oh, no, I definitely think, I mean, it's a hot take, but I definitely think people get tired of each other. I think people need their own personal space, and I think that, that personal space is what reignites the fire that people have in one another.
Yeah,
I think that
totally.
I'm not saying like, fellas, I'm not saying go home and ignore your significant other. Talking about something like, yo, I just need
Exactly.
space. I need
Yep,
some
you'd have to
space so I can
communicate
love
that.
on you, girl. Nah, I don't need
Exactly.
that.
Oh,
I'm saying like have your personal boundaries, have your ability to decompress, and then in a healthy relationship, it should be 100 100, not 50 50. 100
yes.
100 means that, like, if you're not filling up the par, like, get yourself up the par, and then, like, you're adding to a relationship. Now,
Fill your
also, because
bucket.
we're in a relationship, you can help. There's nothing wrong with helping, but you're not the source. As long as you don't make that other person your source, I think that is
Yeah, because that's
the
unhealthy.
yeah, I
Don't do
think
that.
that is healthy. Not making the person
Don't
yourself.
pressure the person to make you happy.
Yeah, man. Have you ever been in like a situation where like you were the source of the happiness in the relationship?
Yep,
Like it doesn't have to be
definitely.
romantic. I mean, like even some friends, like it's like if I don't go out and plan, or if I'm not like the charging type, like it's like nothing really happens, or they feel
Right.
like it's diminishing. Like the friendship. Like I I think it's just interesting, like how people put you as a source. Like even if you are a good source, like that's the thing. Like but people like misunderstand about that. Like that person can still be a good source of happiness. There's a lot of things that make us happy in this world, but you should still be able to find your own happiness within yourself and within life.
Yes. But I also think it's um, they say that you should be happy before finding someone, but I saw something from the holistic psychologist
Hmm.
on Instagram, and she crossed it. She said that we all have our own journey because some people struggle with depression. Like we can't
Right.
always be happy, but we can make the most out of it with that person. We don't have to
Hmm.
have the expectation of forcing them to make us happy, but some people could really support their partners that are struggling with mental illness, for example.
Hmm.
I've seen it. I've had it happen.
Absolutely, man. No, I also think that if you're not the cheery person, you don't have to now become the cheery person because you've met the love of your life. But the love of your life is of your life, man. So like if I'm at a 70 on average and you make me at a 90, yo, I'm at a 90 now. Like that's like just because it's not 100 and people want it to be 100, like yo, I'm at a 90. Like I'm still significantly better than what I was before. So I just think it's pretty interesting. But I mean, when things get out of your control when you're dating, I'm thinking that you have either ignored something in the past or you let
Oh,
something build up, like to the fact that you can't ignore it anymore. So it's like one of the
yeah.
two. It's
What
like,
about like events that happen, such as losing someone really close and all of a
hmm
sudden they shut down because they don't really have the self care, or it's so awful whatever happened to them that it kills the relationship a bit. I've seen it happen.
but like how you handle adversity is another
Actually,
part
that's
of like
important too.
relationship,
Yeah.
and then how you personally handle it is also very important. But that's something that is kind of interesting because you can't ask someone that on you're sitting at
Yeah.
you're sitting at Ruby Tuesday and you're like, hey yo, how do you handle a crisis? Like I don't think that's a date conversation per se.
Nope.
It might be for
It's not. It's
someone
just a
out there.
meme.
I just don't
There's a
think
meme
it's.
out there.
Uh,
Hey, what's your traumas? And what are the traumas that are unresolved? How are
yeah.
you taking care of
So
yourself when you
okay,
feel those
so
traumatic
I think
emotions?
those are still important questions. I just don't think they're date questions. I think those are still. I think those are intimate questions that you ask, not in a public environment, in a more safe environment.
Yes.
And I think
Yeah, that's important.
if you feel safe to express it, like maybe you open up with some of yours and then create that environment, and
Mm-hmm.
then whoever you're talking to can then open up with theirs.
As long
Because
as it's not unhinged, because some people really open up too fast, and
what do you mean unhinged?
I've I've had someone that I went on one date with, and then they felt so safe that I got some long messages about things that I did not feel was appropriate. Like, okay, you can tell me about it later, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about at that moment.
They jumped the gun.
And I woke up to 20 messages.
You woke up to 20 messages?
Some of them were long paragraphs. Yeah, a dude, a man. Also, when I decided to tell him, hey, I don't know if I can continue this, I'm a bit uncomfortable, I ended up having a bunch of, text after text after text, long messages.
So,
we went on one date.
So here's my question. Here's my question to that. Would you rather someone express too much or
too early,
or not enough though? Because would you rather not know what they're feeling and or thinking, or know exactly what they're
both
thinking?
Seem something that would have to be managed in both directions.
Well, I feel like
I want you to open up more.
Even with that though, like, so if someone's shut off, right, and you can't guess what they're thinking, and you're like, hey, I would love to you to express more so I can get a bigger view into your mind, and figure out what diamonds I can find and whatnot, what gems you have in there.
Well, that means I'd have to really work hard.
But then there's the person that expresses over too much, and you're like, hey, how do you tell someone like, don't express too much? I feel like as a man, it's a lot harder because we express so little. Commonly, I express myself pretty often. Hey, I don't like that. Hey, I'm not feeling that. Hey, this is rude to me.
Oh.
But like, I think it's pretty interesting that when a man is over expresses, like, how would you go about like adjusting that?
Well, for me, I don't know, the alarms went off in my head. It just didn't feel right. And then the response I got when I opened up about that was even more red alarms.
Was it more hostile?
It was hostile, and he was like, you're the insecure one.
Yeah, I don't think it's insecure to overexpress yourself, though. I don't think overexpressing yourself. I think to play devil's advocate for you for a bit. I think even if you met someone for like a day, if you feel like the bond is right, I think that time is subjective. I think that just because you dated someone, for example, for 10 years, you can meet someone in 5 months and have a stronger bond. I think that time is a very subjective thing when it comes to these relationships and how you feel about someone. But I also think all he did was express. Well, my man said his heart out to you, and you was hey, yo, bro, chill out.
I think it was the pressure to respond. He said, I felt really safe around you, so I'm going to tell you a lot of things. Yeah. And it's just a red flag after red flag after red flag.
Yeah.
Oh, just so you know, I haven't dated in a while, which not a big deal, but it just, I don't know, all of the messages at once, something didn't seem right. And my intuition, because I've had this intuition before and didn't listen to it, and it was right, and I told myself I'm going to listen to it.
No. Respect to you. Like, how you felt about the situation and your uncomfortability is how it is. So, like, if you was like, yo, this is too much for me, it's too much for you. So, I'm not saying for that situation, I'm not telling you that you were wrong for your actions or anything like that. I'm just more so, like, diving in for, like, our listeners or, like, any guy out there is like, oh, crap, I said too much. Like any guy that's like thinking about, like I really want to, get deep with a person, because even me, like I personally have felt like I've been in a relationship where like I was like, yo man, like I overexpressed. Like one time I told this girl that like I got like depressed every now and then. Like I was like, yo man, like sometimes like
that's not overexpressing.
No, like I didn't. I'm not going into detail about what I said to her, but I told her in a lack of like, to sum it up, like, yo man, like I get sad, like I still get depressed, like I feel lonely over at my job and whatnot. But like her reaction was so strongly different than what I thought I was gonna get, that I was just like, oh, I cannot share with you anymore. Like you are not someone that I can like open up to.
That's not so great. You should be able to talk to.
But like that's what I'm saying in the sense of like expression. Like when guys like do express, because it probably came out because he's never had anyone that he felt like he could express to or whatnot. Like because even guy to guy, it's like there's a certain level of like masculinity. It was like you don't drop below that. It's like I can tell my guys that I'm sad, but like once I get to a certain point, it's like it becomes like a, hey man, just, cheer up, just man up about it. And I'm like, yo, bro, like, that's the point. I don't know how to do
toxic
that.
masculinity. But I do have to say, when I didn't respond to the messages, I have 2 phone numbers, and the person has both of them. Mm-hmm. And then I got they messaged my other number, my fake number.
Phones.
I have another number on the Text Me app that's an 808 number.
Yeah.
And I give it out first because I feel uncomfortable giving my real number out, and then
you put these people through a trial phase.
Yeah,
that is kind of funny, low key.
That might be. I don't know. I just
trial phase
because some people are unhinged like that. I don't know. I shouldn't have given my real number.
So I don't know if he was unhinged just because he overshared though. I feel like unhinged. My first thought is like someone that's like cracking their neck randomly in the middle of the day and like slightly like might kill you. Like, they might kidnap you in broad daylight. That's what when I think of unhinged, I think of, like, someone that's like, I just ran over 3 people to get to you. That's an unhinged person. To me.
What about a guy saying, I mean, I haven't had this. I mean, I've heard some terrible date stories. Well, I'll give an example. This guy told me about a girl he went on a date with. They went to some club, and it was a sketchy club and with sketchy people, and this dude she got into a fight with someone else that she knows, and she was like, oh no, I've had a problem with them, and I finally settled it. And that was his first date with her from Tinder. Like, what is wrong with you?
Was it on island?
No, it wasn't here.
Oh, I was gonna say
wherever
that,
he's from, he's military.
Yeah, I was gonna say that happens. What do you mean? You see someone out the street, we got beef, bro.
I'm not gonna. Okay, if I beef with someone, and if I was in that state of fighting people, which I'm not that type of person. But if I was, I don't think I'd do that on a first date.
Yo, my date has nothing to do with my hands. Let me tell you, if I got a problem with you, you see me in the streets, it's up and it's stuck. That's it. And matter of fact, I might even be more inclined to fight if I'm with someone I'm trying to press. Like, yo, like if someone talks smack about you, like, hey girl, I'm gonna defend you as your king. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm trying to show you that I ain't weak, I ain't soft. Like, I'm gonna defend my title.
I mean, if a random person punched my date and they didn't even know them, then of course I'd expect them to protect themselves. I don't know
about that though. Oh, okay. I'm about to say, if someone punched them,
yeah,
and they
don't have any relationship with them,
from the outside, it look kind of weird if someone is just like, scuffing your date up, like that might look weird. Like if I went on a date with a girl and then like some other girl like went up and like smacked her, pulled her hair, and like beat her butt and then walked away, I'd be like, yo, nah, I don't want this girl. I want the winner. Like what you mean? Like I'm not about that. This girl can't even defend the kids. What you mean? How's she gonna defend the kids? She can't defend herself. Exactly.
Man.
Yo, but it's kind of interesting.
Well, I carry weapons, so I probably would. That's my line of defense. I don't know. I don't know how my date would feel about it. Yeah, I have pepper spray on me.
I got 2 of these things.
Just so you know.
Bang, bang.
Any first daters out there, I carry pepper spray.
I feel like that's
and tasers are legal now, so
you probably shouldn't tell them that though.
Oh, then you should cut that out.
Hey, if y'all dating
No,
Christine,
I don't tell them.
She stay equipped for any of your.
But there's a
ways.
thing, like girls will talk to each other if they're about to go on a first date with someone online, and will say,
"Oh, y'all do that too?"
Yeah,
I do that. I do that because girls are crazy.
Like I'm meeting someone here, or because I don't feel comfortable getting in the car the first time.
Really? No, I feel
it really depends.
You have different situations.
I'd rather meet in a public place.
See me, I'm such a dude about it. Like I'm so trusting of strangers. Like I go to Facebook Marketplace, like for example.
You date on there?
No, baby. I said I'm so trusting of strangers. I'm telling you an example.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Listen to me with your ears, not your mouth. So I go on the marketplace and like for instance, like when I bought my MacBook, so I bought my MacBook. I met the person, and then like I had already paid them, and I was waiting for them to like get the money, like not to get the money, to give me the Mac, right?
Right.
So they went back in the house, and I was just waiting on I paid them up front, and then I was gonna pay them on the back end when I got the actual product. So I was about to go drive around post or drive around the place till I got signal. My signal was like really whacking their side of town. So I already given them money, and for me, I thought nothing of it to like, drive around till I get a signal and let the money go through. But the person I was with, they were like, "Yo, why are you? You want me to stay here with the product to make sure that they don't like walk off and take your money?" And I was like, Why would they do that?" And she was like, "Because people are criminals." And I was like,
they suck.
Oh, I don't know. I don't just write people off by default as like buttholes. I just kind of like, I trust in people first. So like, I'm like free. I'm like, I gave them like, like it was a max. So I gave them like, 500, and I was waiting for the other 500 to send. And I don't have it in my hand. I was just like riding around till like it got, went through. But like, that's what I was talking about. So like, I'm just trusting the people, but I understand. So like, I don't care if it's a public place. I don't care if it's like their place. I don't care if it's my place. Like for the meetup. Also, I'm pretty dangerous, so it's not like I like think that someone's gonna like. If you have a gun, like I know how to disarm a gun. Like it's like I've never really, don't do that. I've never really like felt true fear. Like, and then I grew up here. I grew up bro. If you grew up in Hawaii and you ever dated a tiny Samoan girl who has older Samoan brothers, you should be fearless. I don't care what anyone says in the world. Yeah. If someone's like, "I'm gonna get my brother," and their brother is like 7 foot, and he's the little brother, like let me tell you, like you should be fearless. I grew up in Eva Beach, bruh, 76 South. Like let me tell you. Like some of the girls I dated, their siblings, I was like, oh my god. Oh my god, man. I'm trying to get on that diet. Like whatever they were eating, I was trying to eat. Rice? You said rice every day? Every day? Egg, rice, Portuguese sausage? Okay. Eating it up. So like I'm fearless now when it comes to adult. Like I feel like I'm ready for any situation. Plus, that military stuff train you a little differently. True. But I think it's kind of interesting because we looked into like obsession. Like if we get someone that's unhinged, obsessed, like a little cray.
Obsessed. That's scary.
Oh, when someone's obsessed. But like here's the crazy thing. I feel like people slip into a obsession style pretty easily. Uh-huh. Like. Here's an example. Like I took a conversation. I took a conversation that I had in the office. Like I had this conversation in the office at one of my duty stations. With like I was just a fly on the wall, right? And I'm gonna tell you the conversation verbatim because I thought it was a great conversation. So this is a conversation on a topic of obsession versus passion, right? Like being obsessive about someone versus being passionate about someone, right? So. Lady, I'm gonna call her Erica. So Erica says, when talking to my friends and there was any kind of trouble, I'd be like, "Why don't you just do this?" Or obviously you shouldn't do that. But when it's actually happening to me, I can't handle it. I have like almost no control of my emotions. So Erica was basically just telling us like, "Hey, like." I'm really good at giving advice, but I'm really bad at taking the advice that I give, right? And so me, being the person, I was like, so that's because you like him, right? Like, I don't think that's something that you can help. Like, because she was just saying, like, when she gives, like, guy advice, like, she usually can give it, it's all on point, but when she can't take her own advice. And I was like, that's because you like him, right? And then the other dude there is kind of Jonathan. So Jonathan was like, hey, I wonder if rather than like him, it's more like you're obsessed. And Erica was like, obsessed, right? And then Jonathan was like, yeah, like when you heard he was in the slump, the fact that he kept it a secret from you hurt you more than the fact that he was actually in a slump. So the fact that he kept it a secret hurt you more than your actual concern for him, right? So what you can't stand is actually the idea of him being stolen from you, isn't it? Like, and then he said, be careful, like, because those feelings get out of hand, you'll end up wanting to tie him up and keep him locked away as opposed to freeing him up and, making him feel light. And then, Erica was like, oh, I don't want it to end up like that. And then Jonathan's like, it's okay. You're a nice girl. The fact that you get depressed like this is proof that you love him. Like, sad
Oh.
about the fact that, like, you couldn't pick it. But I thought that was interesting because, like, what she was saying is that Erica was in a situationship with her man, and she was basically saying that at the end of the day, like, she can't decide what's going on in her life. She can't pick what's going on, and she was just like, "Oh man, like I give such great advice, but like I just can't take it for anything." And he was just saying, like, "Yo, man, like
Rationality gets thrown out the window when emotions involved.
I think it's very interesting when people get into it." That's why I was like, "Oh man."
I do that sometimes. You've seen it.
That's why I was like, "Oh man, like obsession versus passion for real." Like she was really upset about the fact that he couldn't talk about the way that he felt to her, but like that he felt it at all.
Right.
And but like through our conversation, he was like, Erica, like, are you more mad that he kept it a secret, or are you mad that you can't help him? And she had to take a look at herself and talk about like, oh well, like, I guess it's more so like that he kept it a secret, but I don't want it to be like that. And I mean, I've been in situations where it's like like I was like, oh shit, like I'm being more so controlling in this. Like I'm not. I want control over my life. Like I feel like I don't have control, and that's what's upsetting me, not necessarily the situation. Like like hey, like even those insecure texts that play, like, oh, like why didn't you text me when you were at work, or like, hey, you normally are free at this time, or what are you doing right now? Like, I feel like it's not that I legitimately think that the significant other is like out, doing some hood rat shit. I think they're just like, like it's just that I don't know what's going on in my life and I don't have any control, and I think
Right.
that messes with me. What's up?
Which I think we've all had those obsessive moments, right?
Yeah.
Unhealthy, toxic parts of.
Have you ever had someone be like super obsessive about you?
Uh, I've had. Yeah. Yeah, I've had some toxic stuff.
Yeah? What was you saying? You had to think about it. I'm sorry. My bad.
Oh,
gotta go
I
into
know,
it,
I'm blanking out. It's like, wow,
oh,
is it
wow.
that traumatic?
I was like, oh my god, my bad. I need to talk about it. No, I've had someone be obsessed to me like that. They called my boss. And
Oh,
I was
yeah. You told me about that.
like, I know, but I didn't tell them about that. So I've had someone like call me and be like, "Ah, man, like he hasn't answered his phone. I'm convinced that he is something is wrong with him, and that he's not gonna make it, and blah blah blah." And I was just like, "Yo," and my boss pulled me aside. Was like, "Yo, are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm fine. I was just working like regular. What are you talking about?" And he was like, "But you can't, you can't have people calling with this type of concern, because like we legitly have protocol for these." And I was like, "Look me in my eyes. Let me talk to you." I didn't expect that type of reaction. Let me tell you what happened. I just like, it was just me
Oh,
not
no.
responding to her, me not like talking to her. I went to bed, man. Like, it wasn't really no crazy thing. But yeah, I've
And
had someone be
her
like,
anxiety went up,
yeah,
and she contacted your boss.
yeah, her anxiety went up.
Yeah.
She didn't come to my boss. It's kind of interesting how relationship, like for me, that was an unsaid taboo, like in a sense of like I felt like I didn't have to tell her that she should not do that, but I believed strongly that that's not something that she should do. Like, if you can't get a hold of me and you call my boss, like, whoa, hold on, you don't do that. And it leads me into thinking like other like taboos, typically in relationships, like especially the first dates. Like I have a rule. Like I think on a first date you shouldn't bring up
Exes.
you shouldn't bring up exes. I don't think you should bring up politics. I don't think you should bring up religion on a first date. And I honestly don't think you should bring up money on a first date. Which most people will be like, well, what do you mean? I was like, okay, my general rule with dating is that if you ask me on a date, that means you're paying for it. If I ask you out on a date, that means I'm paying for it. Because if we both say, hey, let's go to a place and we decide to do it together, then maybe we should split it. Maybe. I still say maybe. It's not like a guarantee. Like, it depends on what level you're on in a relationship, because some people really believe in the courting process. Like, of, going for like your first 90 days or so of like trying to impress and win over your significant other, and like, hey, like, pick me above the rest.
Isn't it hard? Because some people, if they want something serious, they do need to get some things out of the way. Like, hey, do you want kids?
Yeah, but like, I've never been in an environment where it's like, you can ask me about my kid's situation in the future, but I
think
also
it's
don't
on a
know.
dating profile.
But I also don't know your favorite color. Like,
Oh.
I feel like that is a progressive thing that is for more serious things. Now, I get people's fear of like, hey, like, I'm really vibing with this person, and then 7 months in, I found out that they don't like kids. Well, I feel like if you are a good character, like judgment, like if you're good with your EQ, your emotional quotient, you should be able to discern whether or not like this person will likely give you an answer in this and that. Not making an assumption, but I feel like there's certain experiences that you can have that point. Like, oh, this person might not be religious. Hey, this person might care a lot about politics. Or, hey, this person is really, really tight about their money. I feel like you can see that a lot quicker than asking that.
Yeah.
Look, that's my opinion of it. So I think that when you do get into it, I feel like we shouldn't have to talk about kids unless we're about to have kids. I feel like that because
Okay.
like, I also believe that some people are really good at dating and some people are like people that you should marry. I think you can have a perfect boyfriend or girlfriend and then they won't make a good wife or husband. I think that someone, and the weird part about this, I think someone can be a good father and not a good husband. I think someone can be a good mother and not a good wife. I feel like those are, and vice versa. I think those are different roles that aren't all like encompassing, and people try to make them all like encompassing. But like, you don't discern that. Like, I can't look at someone and be like, "Oh man, you make a good mother." I can think that they might, but like, I have to see them with the kid. Like, after a stressful day when there's poop on the wall, I need to see your reaction to the poop on the wall and like how you like go about that. Or
all babies got full diapers and then one just puked.
Yeah, I need to see that pressure. Like, you can't ask about that because some people don't even know. Some people always assume like, oh, I'll be fine. Like, I'll blah blah blah, and until they get in the position, they're like, fuck this. I want to put it back.
Oh, but hold on. Some people, I mean, it's a normal thing to feel. Parents feel that way sometimes.
I just said feel.
Right.
I didn't say no one's putting it back for real. No one's doing that out here. But I do think those are taboo topics, at least in the beginning of a relationship, in the budding relationship.
It's just a lot easier to put it on your dating profile. Because I see that.
I even think that that's different because even if you say like, hey, like, like, I don't believe in God. If you say that you're an atheist or you say that you're spiritual instead, I feel like there's still different conversations that go with that. I feel like if someone looks at that, like, the person who doesn't believe in God can be different. Like, you can have the person that doesn't believe in God, but then the different question becomes, hey, how would that affect you if I practice? Will my practice, like, will you respond, like, in a way of, like, dismissive? Will you be anti? Like, will you be like, oh, like, you shouldn't do that? Like, will you have your beliefs individually? Will you try to hinder mine? Will you encourage me to still have my beliefs while you have yours? Like, that, those are totally different people. So I feel like just putting it on your profile isn't enough and people will make a general assumption about it. I think that, again, I think that's one of those things that you have to have a conversation about.
Two Christians could have different beliefs.
Well, so, Christians, the Bible has a bunch of versions and subjections to it already. So it's like, the way you interpret it can be totally different. Like, I mean, and for my people who know a little bit of Bible verses out there, like me personally, I'm more seasoned than Lot's wife. That's a little hint for you. But Like, as far as my seasoning, more seasoned than Lot's wife. That's for my
You know what I
Bible
really
people out
want?
there. What's up?
The Bible.
Go ahead.
It's the pigeon version of the Bible.
What's pigeon?
So they have their way of speaking here, and it's called pigeon.
Who the fuck is that? No, okay. Go ahead.
But I heard that there's a Bible that's been written in this way, and it's called the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Why do you want it?
I just want it.
Christine, I've never heard
I
you
would
say
read that.
pigeon ever.
I would read that.
I don't even know if you can speak pigeon.
I can't, but I get spoken to in that way all the time, and some people think I went to Punahou because they say, "Oh, you speak proper English." I get that all the time. What?
I can see that. That's really funny.
No, I've had it happen. Someone said,
No,
"Oh,
I'm
you
just
from
saying,
here?
I
It's
could see-
interesting. You speak proper English. I like it."
I could see you.
It's such an interesting compliment. I'm not used to being told that, I
You
guess.
speak proper English.
Yeah, and I don't even think I do.
hear
I
that shit
think
all the time.
I think my English is terrible, even though it's my first language.
You speak proper English.
I'm doing the best I can.
You do speak proper English. You do sound like you're come from like a little education and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was just saying, my opinion, outright. But I mean, I also think just talking about money in general, man. Money can change in a second. Like it's just like how you feel about budgeting. Like I need to know if I'm in a relationship where if I spend more than $100, you're gonna give me a call. Like I need to know that, cause some people are like that, man. I was with my buddy and we were in the PX, the Post Exchange, and he was about to buy some headphones for his Xbox or something, and like he called his wife and he's like, "Hey babe, just so you know, I'm about to buy these headphones for this Xbox." And I was like,
"Oh,
as soon as he hung out, he's like, you know, let me buy. As soon as he hung out, I was like, "Bro, you got like these Xbox headphones like $300, bro. This it's on like $70 or whatnot." He's like, "Yeah, I know, but like we have the joint account and she's gonna see it and wonder." I said, "It's gonna say PX on the charge. Like, what do you mean?" Like I was like, "Yo, I don't know if I could do that." But I mean, I would like to know, like, I don't know, what's my number? Like $500. You spent $500. I kind of want to know what you spent that on.
A hotel. I'm just kidding.
Oh, that's suspicious. That's suspicious as fuck.
My tuition. Oh, my rent. Because my rent is that much.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in a relationship with a joint account.
Oh.
In a relationship
Our rent.
with a joint account. Ain't no rent. Ain't no joint rent. At $500 out here. We on the
Cell phone bill.
What the fuck? Who you calling? You calling Jesus? Hey, yo, Jesus. Man.
Wow, what would I spend?
Well,
500. A computer? A really nice computer?
I just feel like,
PS5. Oh, that's 600.
I mean, the retail is $500, so you ain't that far off.
Watch me call my partner and say, "Hey, I found a PS5
in the store.
I'm gonna buy it. Is that okay?"
And then they're gonna be like, "What do we need a PS5 for?"
We can game together.
You gotta buy a controller. That's another $60.
We already have it. We just want a better PS. Wait, do they?
It comes with one controller.
No, wait. Do you have to get a new controller for that?
It comes with one controller.
No, but tell me, none of the old controllers work.
That's never happened. There's
I haven't had a PlayStation in a while.
There's never
I stopped
been
at PS3.
a situation where the only Nintendo does that, when you can like reuse old controllers. Crap. I mean, this has been happening since like 2003, so I mean, get used to it. Get good, as they would say.
Wow, they know how to make their money.
Those
controllers are expensive.
They were.
They can be. I've seen $80 controllers.
But like, they do different things.
Is that so? Entirely. The price is within the price of the PS5, $500. Well, I don't think it too. I'm not by myself. A lot of people play games together or
Sometimes. Online. A lot of people play games online.
Oh, I guess gamers can be seen as. I mean, there's a stereotype as introverted. So maybe
most
that's
games
why
are actually played online with someone.
I love
Like
playing online.
couch co-op, as it's called. Like when you do like the split screen, like that's actually a lot rarer these days.
Yeah, they had that for Nintendo.
Not back in the day, man.
Back
I mean,
in the
Mario
day.
Kart always running Mario Kart split screen. I was playing Mario Kart the other day with some tail.
You know, they say
Insane.
to not look at the other person's screen when you're.
Playing
When I played Nintendo 64 Donkey Kong game, when you're battling each other, people do it though. But
Like,
it's right next to each other. How can you
shouldn't.
not look?
Just don't do it.
I'm trying to focus.
Filthy
It's under
cheater.
me.
You're a
Or
filthy
they're
cheater.
on my right.
And you just look over casually. Try
So
to
is my
decide where they're
relative
at.
that I'm playing with. They're looking
You're a
over too. We're all
filthy
doing it.
cheater. I don't do it. I've never done that.
Well,
I've never done that. I'm not a filthy cheater.
man, we weren't even gonna attack each other. We would just, I don't know, make our own game within the game.
Yeah, I feel like that's the point of it sometimes. Like, yeah, hey, yo, like, I'm about to make another game, like, within its game, separate roles and whatnot. Like, when I played Mario Party, I used to make a lot of, like, different games within those games. Like, the bumper cart game, I used to play a lot. One
I
that
love
freaking
Mario
hurt the hell
Party.
out of my hand because you had the Nintendo controller and you used to just
Yeah.
spinning it, hand be all blistered and whatnot.
Did you hear that they're coming out with the Harry Potter game?
Yeah, it looks
Is it gonna be
sick as
online?
fuck. It looks
Is
sick
it
as fuck.
gonna? That's my question. Someone keeps telling me about it. I'm like,
Probably
man, you just
will
told
be.
me about this months ago, and it's still
It
not out.
probably will be.
If it's gonna be online,
I fucks
I'm
with
playing.
Harry Potter. I fucks
Hopefully,
with
they
Harry
have an
Potter.
option of the person being left-handed.
Potter. It's Potter.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Lumos. Nox.
Avada Kedavra. Oh
Fire. Harry Potter is fire.
no, they're not gonna do any murdering in the game. It's,
What?
They're not, are
Bro,
they?
you telling me I'm gonna be
No,
a wizard?
not with
You're
player
a
to
wizard,
player.
Harry.
I'm
You're
a
a
lizard.
murderer, Harry. I better be able to murder someone.
Did you do the Pottermore test? I got Gryffindor.
Yeah, I didn't get Gryffindor.
Slytherin?
No.
Ravenclaw?
Jackass.
Hufflepuff?
Stop. Stop trying to guess me. Stop trying to guess me. I just don't like
You know
that
what?
you
I
immediately
think-
went Slytherin.
I don't even think that I'd be Gryffindor anymore, but that was years ago.
Yeah, retake it now. You're no.
I'm not a
Gryffindor.
Gryffindor.
You're no. Gryffindor.
Yeah, I took it my freshman year of college because my friends, she said she got Slytherin and she pushed me to take it, and I got
I'm sure
Gryffindor.
Slytherin pushed you. Sounds just right.
She's half Filipino, half white,
Ayo.
really pretty chica, and on
Very
my dorm
chica.
floor.
She's not chica. Well, she is a chica. But
And
she's not
she,
chica.
her hobby is archery.
Archery.
So all the guys
Nope.
love that.
I don't.
She was
Not
really
about
into Lord of the Rings.
Not about that accuracy. Hell no. That means I can't walk away from you or run away from you. Get an arrow to the back or the knee. Even worse. Fuck that. Fuck de Scheisse. Fuck that.
I used to be an adventurer like you until I took an arrow to the knee. Skyrim reference for those of you that don't play the game.
Yeah, no. Your friend is making people old adventurers. She's retiring adventurers right now.
I just started playing that game probably 3 years ago. My ex got
Skyrim.
me into it, and I love it.
Skyrim's pretty dope.
Oh, so
It's a
fun.
good
And
game.
yeah, should have seen my reaction with that
What,
giant.
Oh, yeah,
I came up to him, I was like, I'm gonna attack him, and then he hit me, and the dude just flew up. I was like, fuck.
Yeah, I'm sure you was the person that's like, I'm gonna go attack him. You're such an aggressive.
And they're
video
actually
game player.
gentle creatures, so yeah, I don't attack them anymore.
Such
But they're
an
pretty.
interesting-
They're pretty gentle.
Such an interesting contrast. How aggressive of a
If
video
you
game
watch
person
my
you are.
Skyrim thing, because I tend to because of my my thievery level is at 100.
Yeah.
I'd walk into a
Shiesty,
city
yeah,
and my
come
ex
on.
was like, "Wow, everyone's naked," and you'd see clothes littered all over the floor.
Oh yeah.
I thought it was funny. Yeah,
Wow.
for some of the main characters, if you take their clothes off, it stays off.
That's a weird thing for you to just be like telling me as like a little bonus content. Like why, Christine? Why?
Maybe I should. You know what? I should live stream how I
Yeah,
play.
fuck that.
No, I
Stop
think-
being a pervert.
It would be funny.
It
no,
would be
they're
funny.
they're
You'd
not.
be banned.
They're not naked.
They don't have to be.
Their parts are covered.
Like, I'm just saying, like, you're saying it's perma-naked. Like, they don't need that. Like, a scream that... I'm pretty sure you can't do that, actually.
What?
Like, I'm pretty sure you cannot scream that.
Oh.
Yeah, you're about to be banned your first week. That shit's crazy.
Aw.
Yo, you know what's something interesting when it comes to, like, learning yourself? Just like how I said that you're, like, a psychopath in video games.
I am. I beat up NPCs, and I have no shame.
Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah.
I put all their bodies in one area, I'll carry them, I'll put on a horse. For an Assassin's Creed, after I murder a significant character, I'll bring the body with me. It sounds so bad. Come on, we all do it. No. There's a meme on it. There's a meme. It says we are all those psychopathic murderers.
No. I feel like we all find memes that are just relatable for us.
Well, it's like relatable for me.
Yeah, I'm sure because that is meme culture. You find a meme that fits you and you save it. And you skip all the other memes. I'm sure there's a meme that's like, you're just chilling and everyone else is killing all the NPCs in your game and you're just like... like what? Like the Pikachu face?
Shark Pikachu face.
Right? So, I feel like this is a topic that you might have more fidelity on when it comes to, like, especially, like, knowing yourself and, like, learning a little bit about you. So, I wrote it down as a sense of, like, what exactly is ancestral trauma?
Okay. Well, I guess I'm more focused on colonization, but I guess it wouldn't... it could be anything. Well, in a colonial sense, for example, here in Hawaii, the Hawaiian people, they lost their land. The colonizers took it, and part of their culture is they never really had ownership. It was a communal thing. They shared everything with each other, and then when the colonizers came in, they took ownership of land and started living there. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, it's traumatizing the Hawaiians, but also took their culture away by taking the language, telling them you can't do that. And then same with surfing. They wanted to take surfing away. Mm-hmm. And then they wanted, I know that they forbid hula dancing, but people danced behind closed doors in a hidden thing. So that's traumatizing. The whole culture and their way of living was completely transformed. Even looking at Hawaii, it's really sad to see all the infrastructure here. But they also lost a lot of their people because of the introduced diseases, from the people that came on the land that they were not exposed to, and that was a lot more trauma, and it's not resolved. We still see it today. They're still fighting for their land.
Yeah, but like when I say like, so that's what it is. So what effect does it have on the present day?
Okay, so the connection, from my understanding, and I may not be too knowledgeable on this, but from my studies and the readings that I've read, you see it in the mental health issues. Mm-hmm. The homelessness and addiction problems. And addiction is pretty high in Pacific Islanders and Native Hawaiians here, sadly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So addiction is homelessness.
Mental health issues.
Okay. And the addiction?
Yeah, it's a way of numbing the emotions. It's not really resolving it, but it helps them feel a temporary relief at that moment.
Trying to find like a feel good, like an upper type thing. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You see this? Because I read something on trauma and indigenous people, like in the mainland, and it's the same. Oh, it's the same thing. They struggle with the mental health issues and addiction. So, and they're still being traumatized because the land's not theirs, and they're being how would I say it?
Mm.
Manipulated.
Manipulated.
Taken advantage of.
Interesting. Now, do you think that that would affect like a relationship?
Yeah, it could. If they're not really, if they, I also think that if they're not taking care of themselves and they don't know how to do the self-care when the trauma is coming up or the triggers, then it could affect the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the other person really has, I mean, if they don't have it in their mental health to take care of that person, they can go. I mean, it's a lot of things. People, they say you should be there for the other person, but if it's bad for your mental health, there's only so much that you can take.
Yeah. Sure. I just wonder how those type of things will blend over. We talk about just certain things that like, there's a history of. Like, I know in high school when I dated a Latino, like her mom was not about it. Her mom was not about us dating because she had previous history and previous like experiences with like black people and like once I learned, because I grew up here, like I grew up here from like the second grade or something. So like when it came to like the interracial like freaking beefs and stuff like that, like I didn't know shit about that. Like I learned that much later. I was like, oh shit, they're beefing. Like, I had no idea. I didn't know. So once I learned a little bit about that, it gave me more fidelity on the subject. But back then, I was just confused. I was like, man, I don't know what. And she was confused too, because she also grew up like a good chunk of her time like here and whatnot. And it was just something that like it was like our parents were trying to pass down that wariness to us and whatnot, and we were just like, okay, like, okay.
Also, some of it could be passed down without the descendants' knowledge. I know this was done on mice or rats, but there's a study out there, and I don't know what it's called, so but you can look it up. And they expose this mouse or rat, I believe, to shocks, and then they would put the scent of flowers when that happened, and then in the kids of this animal, whenever they expose the scent of flowers, the stress levels would be there in the kids, even though they weren't exposed to the shock.
Very interesting.
So, yeah, it can be passed down.
Hey guys, be wary of your flowers.
I think it transforms. Well, it was paired with the shock, but
yeah, no, I was just saying.
I believe
be wary
trauma
of your flowers.
can transform, or the DNA. I could be wrong. And I'm open to that, but I definitely think what we experience, especially if we don't heal, could be passed down to our kids. They could become more wary and have more anxieties towards things and not understand why.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say if you encounter someone that has like a ancestral or like a history of trauma within their family? Like, how would you go about that?
I am so sorry for the trauma that your ancestors experienced. I now is the time. Okay, so I said this to someone on the phone a few days ago, working at the crisis hotline. It was a Pacific Islander that is going back to the ancestral roots by teaching people to garden and eat the crops that they have. And I was like, that's going back to your ancestral roots. You're teaching the teachers of your ancestors, and that's healing them. As an example. So, because of the trauma of colonization, it's just, oh man, I don't know where I'm going with this. Just, okay, self-care. They need to take care of themselves, but also honor their ancestors when it comes to handling the trauma within themselves that's been passed down, just so that they could heal with them.
I mean, if I'm dating someone significant and they have like a history or like a family like style of trauma that can cause them, it all depends on what it like brews into. So like we look at roots, and you know you have to check the roots before your fruits anyway. So when we look at the root of the problem, if there is a problem, because that's the first thing first,
Right.
is there a problem? Um, but since we're saying trauma, there most likely is a problem associated with that. And I just feel like I would, after we do the acknowledgement, like, hey, do you acknowledge that, you know, like you have this issue rooted to this, or you have this issue that takes place because of this? I feel like after acknowledgement comes accountability, and I feel like you have to like
Yep.
factor in some form of
Oh, yeah.
accountability when it comes to these type of things,
Definitely.
because uh, not to like victim blame or like with victim shame, but like part of that healing process is gonna be on that person as well. Like, and if that person doesn't take a part in their own healing process, then they may be doomed to fall into similar situations in which
Right.
they want the problems to self medicate themselves in a sense, you know. So it's really gonna be me assessing and asking, you know, that person like, hey, is this something that you feel that, you know, you can either get over or like not excuse me, not get over in a sense of like, you know, like, hey, like tomorrow, like let's forget about this, but like is this something we can work towards you fixing, and you being like the last generation or the second to last generation on, you know, like just this issue? Or is this something that you
Yep.
think you won't be able to get over? In that case, like, okay, well, how are you coping with this? Are you coping with this in a healthy manner? Are you going to live with this issue or carry this with you in a healthy manner? And then how do you go about preventing, you know, your future generations or our future generations from inheriting this from you? Um, it's just going to start those deeper talks for me, because like I had like certain things that I had grown up, like I feel like colorism really mattered, like whether you were dark skinned, light skinned, or brown skinned, even if you were black. Like I learned that like even being black, you have your different colorisms and whatnot, and that there are different actions associated with each one. And once I learned like, okay, like where does this come from, and I learned a little bit more of the history of it, I was like, oh, well, I'm not worried about
Yeah.
that. Like I'm not too tied up into it and whatnot. And so when someone would say something to me like, "Oh man, you're brown skin," or like, "Hey, like you're dark skin," excuse me, I just wouldn't think much of it. I would almost dismiss it and just go more into a positive sense of light. Um, but I mean, that goes back to an earlier topic that we said of, you know, like just really learning how to engage like on your hard hitting topics through like experiences and whatnot, because like me going out with someone like around their friends, like you've never been with your significant other around their friends and around their family, those can be two different versions of like people that you see, like how
Totally.
someone is around like someone that they respect, like an elder or like their mom or their pops or whatnot, or even like their favorite cousins and whatnot, and then how they feel around their closest friends or even like coworkers. Like you could possibly see like totally different sides of people, and if you learn how to engage with them in these different environments, I feel like you paint a better picture of them from just your interactions,
Right.
because people tend to, you know, like show their best like side first a lot. Well, especially when they're trying to impress someone, they don't want to show people too much of their weaknesses. Or unless, you know, you're Christine, in that case, it's like, yo, here are all of my weaknesses that I've had since I was 15, detailed with citations. But for normal people, you know, you just have to look at them in different environments and see like, okay, this is how they react to this is how they react to them, and then it's more so either the actions, like when we say actions speak louder than words, those are the things that I think of, like how are you around your best friend, etc., etc., etc. What's up, G?
Oh, I was like, I had something to say, but then you asked, how are you around your best friend? And I feel obligated to answer that too.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, what about the stuff that we see on the news, like police brutality?
I don't
That's
watch the news.
traumatizing. Some of that's traumatizing too. I think it's secondary trauma, right? Hearing about events, even watching the videos of those events, that's
Yeah.
trauma too.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that gets lit. I feel like that gets rooted more in like empathy, and I already told you, like I have this whole thing about how I'm like low key against empathy, because I feel like our common version of empathy is like a blanket, like, oh, like I'm just sad because I'm sad, like it happens because of the news, like, hey, if I see someone get shot in Minnesota, like at a school shooting or whatnot in Minnesota, hey, I'm gonna tell my kid, like, don't go to school today. Like, I feel like that's the type of empathy that we're at currently
Oh.
in at least the states, where it's like people are like taking those moments and they're like getting really tied to it, and they're like become so one with it that they almost do a little too
Oh,
much
you're
for
saying
it.
anxiety. They're going a
Like
bit far.
they're just letting it build a little too much. But that comes from like feeling about how they would feel as like a parent in that same state or at that school and whatnot. I think that when we watch the news and like we see something, like, yeah, of course it makes me sad when I know, like, hey, I watch the news, I'm like, hey, a person that looks similar to me was like treated like unfairly, or like they did something like really stupid or dangerous, and now people are either gonna fear us or they're gonna look down at us or whatnot. I think that does affect me, and I think that it does. It changes a little bit of my outlook of like how I want to navigate in my day to day. Sometimes, but like, do I actually do it? Not necessarily. I mean, I still wear hoodies like
Yeah.
freely. Like like regardless of what happened in the past, whether people look similar to me, like I still wear hoodies. Like I don't feel like I've been in a certain environment where it's like, oh dang, like I can't I can't function here. I'm not gonna flourish here. Or blah 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 blah. It's only been rare times where I like legitly walked into an area and I was like, oh, like I'm not safe here. Like I do not need to be here, and
Mm.
it hasn't been anytime soon. I mean, anytime recent. And those areas were like kind of special areas. Like, you hear like crazy things, you see signs and
Yeah.
whatnot.
What do you mean? Oh, signs from people.
Yeah,
Like how they
signs from
react.
people
Yeah.
and whatnot. Oh man, but that's what I was talking about. I feel like you learn certain things through your engagement. You learn certain things through your engagement and just talking in conversation. But I do think, I mean, you said it earlier when it comes to like kids. But I think that when you do get to a interesting point in a relationship, I think that marriage and kids important should be brought about. Like
Yep.
when we talk about not only like do you want kids, it's like what do you do if like, oh no, it's like unplanned. What if you're dating someone and you have an unplanned pregnancy? Like it's not necessarily that you wouldn't have a kid with them. It's just like that wasn't necessarily your time that you wanted to have a kid. Like I feel like that is an important question to know. Like, hey, like are you like, or even something simple as like, are you a Plan B type person? Like, do you keep the Plan Bs on deck, or
Well, you could go to the store and get it. I've had that.
I mean, do you keep the Plan Bs on
It's
deck?
accessible.
I've had to buy Plan Bs for a woman before.
They're expensive, like $50.
Kids are more expensive. Kids are a hell of a lot
Yeah,
more
kids are
expensive.
expensive. If I'm not in a place to um, do that, then yeah, plan B the next day. Oh,
It's
effed
super
up.
crazy.
We messed
Like,
up.
I've been in a place where I was just like, you know what? I don't even care.
I don't recommend it, but I mean, I don't try to purposely mess up. You don't want to take plan B.
Yo,
Be safe.
the amount of people whose plan B is plan A is actually low key wild.
Wait, what?
like the amount of people whose
Plan A should be condoms and other birth control.
No, condoms are for preventing STIs. Birth control is for preventing babies. So if you go on
Plan A, pull out game week.
Nah, pull out, push in, push in, pass all the important parts into the heart.
Oh, that's romantic.
Into the heart. She said.
What if someone I'm seeing hears this and then they think, oh, and I just got an idea from her friend.
That's the idea, and so on. So it's just like, so like, who cares?
Right.
Hey man, that's between you and them. Hey, may the Lord be with you, etc., etc. Peace be with you. Plan B
And
can
also
also
with
be
you.
your plan A or B or C. You do whatever you want. It's your body.
There's
your
so
choice.
many things people could do.
It's your body, your choice. Yeah, like I mean, like I feel like it's so interesting because like when you talk about like unplanned kids, like like you know, like are you gonna get rid of it? Or are you gonna keep it? Because I feel like even that, it's like sometimes like if you have a kid with someone, but like you guys aren't necessarily like it's not that you are early in a relationship, but you're not as experienced. There is this weird zone where it's like you're kind of in the middle. Like your friends kind of know about them, but they're not like you're gonna marry them type status. It's just like your friends know the name, your mom or your dad,
Yeah.
they know the name,
Yeah.
like they see the face, but it's not like, you know, like, oh, these guys can't wait for them to get married, but then you're pregnant. I feel like that middle stage is a very interesting stage to be like, what are we gonna do? Because like if someone feels like they're ready to like take that extra leap and like, yo, like let's do this thing, you know what I'm saying? Let's get the shit. And the other person's like, I feel like we were going at a really good pace and I feel comfortable and something.
I've said that
Then it can be like,
to someone.
it can like
It's
derail the relationship effectively. Not being in sync can derail.
They always say that the girl's like the one that's pressuring for more, and then I've had people say they want kids with me.
No, I don't. I am, at least in my experience,
Where I said,
I've
I'm not
never,
ready.
I've never been in situations where the girl is the one necessarily pressuring for more. Not that I'm pressuring for more either. I just feel like most women that I've even dealt with have been like, yeah, no, and I'd be like, yeah, that's fine, because I'm mostly supportive. Like that's just like my role. If they say no, then that is what it is. If they say yeah, then that is what it is. It's not like I'm gonna be like, no, I'm about to figure this out like a ninja or some shit. Like, just more so just supportive. Like, hey, either way, my mom is gonna call me and spoil the hell out of that little child. And that's just my mom. She's just so ready to be a grandma. Mom, just sit tight, man. I don't know. Maybe look for my little bro. I don't know. Tell Desmond. Hey, Desmond, man, if you listening, bro, just it might be your turn, bro. Because I've been chilling. Don't take this seriously though, so you might use it against me. Then mom be calling me.
Hey, I've been
like,
chilling too, because I'm the second oldest and I haven't been pregnant. All my sisters have.
I am the oldest from my mom, but all my older siblings from my dad have kids. My older brother has a daughter working on number 2, and then my older sister has a daughter, my niece. She's like 12, bro. So, like, they're already established. They ain't worried too much about them. It's crazy though, because like I feel like I'm just like sitting there and I'm just waiting on my time to shine, because I low key, high key though.
He wants kids.
It's not just being kids. I want to be a house husband. I'm trying to be a stay-at-home dad, stay-at-home
Hey.
I just want to stay at home.
I told you that's what I wanted, was a stay-at-home husband, because I know what I want to do in my work and I want to work.
I feel like the people who want to work, hey, shout out to you guys. I don't freaking want to work at all. I want to make cookies and fucking
Raise my kid.
And lay in bed and raise the kid and take them out walking and change their poopy diaper and give them snacks, and then as soon as you get home, give them sugar.
That's a full-time job too.
Yeah, but guess what? Kids are funny as hell. They're little demons sometimes, but like they are all actually just so funny. It's so funny watching a kid be sneaky. Have you ever like been around a kid like
oh, they
kids
hide under a
version of
lamp?
Sneaky? Like the first of all, like no, not like legit.
They think
I mean
this
like
is hiding?
them being conniving type shit. Like I mean like I've been eating Cheetos before, like 'cause I know you guys love Cheetos and shit. But I've been like eating Cheetos, and I've had like a little kid, like a little 3-year-old, come up to me and be like, "My mom lets me eat Cheetos." I'm like, good for you, dude. Like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want? Like, he's like, and he'd be like, Cheetos are good. I love Cheetos. You know,
I'm just like, say that she wants Cheetos.
I'm just like, yo, like, kids are so funny. Like, that's their way of like just asking without asking. I think that's the sneakiest, funny way. My mom lets me eat Cheetos. I love Cheetos. Or like I'm eating like a sandwich or something. They're like, "Is it good?"
Hey, yeah, I do that.
Yeah, it's good. Oh man, I love sandwiches. Do you? That's crazy.
Yeah, I love your sandwich especially.
Me too. I love sandwiches. So like that, I just think that those interactions are so funny, and like just like I said, watching kids be sneaky and so that for example, and just watching them like kind of grow into their own and have their own independence. Like when kids get old enough to start dressing themselves, my God, it's such a funny sight. The confidence that they have too with that outfit, like I don't know, man, it just blows my mind. So
goth stage.
I'm just super excited for the kid to like pull up like the rain boots with like the dress and like the jacket. I'm just like, where are you going? It's 90 degrees outside. Like, what are you doing? Like, I'm just so excited for that type of crap, man. So yeah, I just think, I think there's nothing wrong with being a house husband.
Yep, I agree.
Nothing wrong with being a housewife either, but I just feel like that's my job and I want to do that. So for me, I'm just not going to allow that.
I do think that a lot of men have shared with me that they'd be happy to be a house husband. And that makes me happy because I think it's breaking the West role.
Yeah, I grew up with my mom, like, making the bacon, and my mom was working like most of my whole life. Matter of fact, my mom retired a couple of years ago, so like most of my all of my life that I can remember, my mom's been working, and I just like, yeah, that's cool. I don't want to do that, man. I don't want to do that. I'm trying to lay at home, man. I'm trying to be with the kiddies, wear matching outfits, and do crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. That's me, man. But,
making stuff for mama when she come home.
I think it's interesting. Yeah. I'm about it. I'm trying to go to culinary art school. I'm about to be the best fucking stay-at-home dad ever. Like, it'd be crazy. I just need a maid for the dishes because I'm not that big of a fan of dishes. I'll wash dishes, but I'm just not big of a fan because my mom made me wash them growing up. So I'm just like, I'm not trying to do that shit now. It kind of, we were talking about like house F you? Mama? Jackass. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Hey.
I wash dishes, man.
He does. I've seen you do it.
It just depends on the level of gunk in the dish. It takes so much time. I like music. I'm like trying to do it right, make sure everything's degreased and whatnot. It's a process. And I've been in a situation where someone washed a dish and I did not like how they washed the dish, and I was like, so
oh my gosh, was that today? Because I washed the dishes today.
No, I didn't say.
Okay.
I said I've been in situations.
I know, but I wanted to ask.
It was really weird.
I know.
That like I would not even admit to it if we
What?
did.
You said that you tend to speak up about these
I didn't do any dishes today. Like I didn't use any dishes that were previously washed today.
I used dishes, so I washed dishes today, so I wanted that confirmation.
I'll let you guys know in the next episode if Christine sucks at washing dishes. It's probably going to be the top of the episode.
Oh,
so
goodness.
Stay tuned for that. I just feel like, what do you think? Do you think that when you like really care for someone that you won't be as harsh with the truth with them? Or do you think that you would
No,
be harsher because you care?
I think there's a nice way to go about things. Like my best friend in Washington let me know before I moved here to Hawaii. She said you did let yourself go. I mean, we were in a pandemic, but I did let myself go. I did. I was bigger, a little bit bigger.
Hey man, it's pandemic, man. We ain't have much to do but just sit around and eat.
Anyway, it was a wake up call for me, but I appreciated how because anyone could react to that in a negative way because they could find it offensive, but I appreciated that she was truthful with me and said, hey, but she said it in a really kind way.
Oh yeah.
And I took it to heart and thought I needed to change a bit, so I did things.
Not my friends. My friends be like, hey man, you losing weight. What's up with that?
I've had that too. And I'm when I moved here.
And I'm like, yo, yeah, but like women typically like losing weight. Men typically don't like losing weight.
Oh.
It's a totally different thing. I mean, I'm just...
Yeah, they want to get bigger.
So like hearing that, as I was saying in relation to what you said, having people say that, they're not gentle about it at all. It's like, hey man, you're a butthole. Like, man,
yeah, if you aren't gentle about it, don't expect the person to react kindly. they
same, man.
Yeah.
That's why I want my friends to just fake it and just tell me what I need to hear for a little bit. I'm not around a bunch of people that tell me what I need to hear, but like, yo, man, if you're gonna say it mean, like, yo, man, break it down to me gentle, man. I have feelings. I'm sensitive and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sensitive. You know? So it kind of makes me laugh because that's what I was saying. Like, is it fake to then, like, not say it's harsh of a truth? Like, for something? Like, is that considered fake? Like, if it's your significant other and they, like, I don't know, like, you wake up next to them, their breath, they have, like, bad morning breath.
I've had someone tell me I have bad breath.
But is it fake to not tell the person that? Like, what do you think?
I mean, some people don't know how to confront other people on that. I don't know if it's fake. It's more of their discomfort and that they need to learn how to
well, I mean, like, see,
about.
Even when you say that, like, does it need to be said, I guess? We start with doesn't need to be said.
Doesn't everyone's breath stink in the morning? I brush my teeth right when I wake up because
I don't know.
I don't like the feeling of my mouth. I don't like, for me, it feels dirty and it feels stinky, so I brush.
I feel like there's like a large explanation to why your breath could stink at all, but it largely plays into your diet, your digestive system, and what you've been processing and whatnot. And there's certain foods that actually do make you more gassy, and foods that make your breath stink as a result. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think some people actually do wake up fine. And it depends. Like, some people don't even sleep that long. They take the power naps and whatnot.
Yeah,
sleep
true.
for a couple hours and then they're done. You know what I'm saying? Done. And I feel like that's me right now.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, is that you?
I don't know. I need to take a power nap. I'll be good though. I've been alright. Learning about myself is freaking hard, man. There's so much stuff going on.
Yo, I get surprised at because I journal, I get surprised at some of the things I read for months before.
Yeah?
Like, wow, this was my thought process at the time. This is what I thought. I mean, sometimes I feel shame from it. Like,
you feel shame from
I'll write my strong emotions down. But, that's a good way to express yourself and put it out there without having to tell someone about it. And when I read it, to be honest, I've ripped it out of my journal and shredded it and super cut it, but because I don't want anyone to read it. But yeah, when I look at it again, I'm surprised. Like, I felt so strong at this moment, and I wish I didn't.
Bro, man, shout out the past.
It depends on what it is.
Yo, your past you had to go through something so your current you could learn from it.
That's true.
So, I mean, hey man, if I didn't experience these things in the past, like the person I am today, he'd be non-existent. So,
right,
you shouldn't feel shame from it. Hey man, we all got experiences. We're not complete mirrors. We're like a shattered mirror, and we put all the pieces together.
Yeah.
And all those pieces are different experiences.
Yeah, that's true.
So like all the experiences could together make that complete mirror of ourselves. but we're already
But
cracked.
if you look at that mirror and it's cracked, are you even able to see yourself?
Yeah, but no mirror is not cracked when it comes to that. Like, everyone's mirrors has cracks. Except for babies, I guess. Maybe. It depends on if they like the spanking or not. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
Tell the story?
No.
I didn't cry. No, I didn't. You know the story.
Because you like the spanking.
No.
That's what that meant.
My parents said that I was a quiet baby. I didn't cry. And when I was born, I didn't cry. And the doctors did have to spank me to have me cry. Because they thought I didn't have a voice box. And that's pretty unique. And that my parents also say that's the reason why I talk so much now. Is because I didn't talk a lot as a baby.
You know why doctors are supposed to spank babies? And why babies are supposed to cry? Because that's their first time they take breath. Because before then, you're filled with fluid. Like from the umbilical cord, babies are filled with fluid. So they don't need oxygen. So there's no, like, their lungs are filled with fluid from the umbilical cord. So when they're born, it's their first time not having that fluid that keeps them alive. So if they don't learn how to breathe, yeah, that's it.
I came into the world.
Game over.
And got spanked immediately.
And you've been different ever since. hey guys, I feel like that's all we have for today. That's all the time we got. Thank you for listening again. Welcome to the second season. Hey, our next episode, we're going to talk about where's the line. You know, just looking at where's the line between yourself, what's the boundaries that you'll set, and just pretty much like when you say, like, hold up, like your hold up moments. Like, hey, yo.
Oh, it's going to be my therapy moments.
Hold up. Wait, like, yo, that's too far. So that's all I got for today. Once again, I am MarquisSoLive.
And I am Christine.
And this is we'll name this podcast later. So, deuces, everybody. Goodbye.